Welcome back to Game Time Greatness Season 12, the playoff primer.
It's game time. Game time. Game time. We winning, we winning, we winning, we winning. It's game time. Game time.
Here with me is Ethan Wright, our special guest tonight, GG5 champion, GG10 champion, and Noah Dunsmore. And I don't know, you can share your championships. I don't remember them.
4.
Yeah, I have. I cannot remember off the top of my head, to be fair.
Or 9,
4
maybe?
and
They're out
something.
there, though.
Too many to
Shows
count.
shows how much he cares.
I think one before and one after Ethan.
Anyway, we have a great
Oh,
episode.
and Jake, which champion? What years are you?
I don't know. We'll get to that later this episode. We have a ton to get through. I have no idea how long this podcast will be, but it will be worth your time. We'll look at the playoff picture. We'll look at the consolation picture. We got a special segment. We're going to do questions with Ethan, and then Ethan's going to share some stats compiled for us. Should be pretty interesting. And yeah, let's go ahead and dive into it. Let's recap the season.
Yeah, I think early on in the season, I know you and Brandon did a podcast back at the beginning that kind of high-leveled where you thought everybody would end up. I think that'd be kind of cool to look at that again. But, I really thought Grant had a strong draft to start off. I really felt this might be the year that he puts it back together again after his championship year. But unfortunately, he had some injuries and didn't make that happen. So that was a big disappointment. Matt had some high-scoring games initially, but his team fell to injury as well. So those were kind of two of the teams that we were looking at, or I was looking at. I know Colin did. He had the highest draft, even though he auto-drafted half his team. So, I mean, if he wins this year, does that even count? I don't think so. But
Credit to me, and I think a couple other people believed, but CC's in playoffs. Knew he could do it. He was one of my dark horses. So
yeah, lost the last 5 games, but he's there.
Yeah, really. Who did lose the last 4 games is Jarvis. He started off hot, as he usually does. Some may say he fell off because he doesn't do much action on the waivers.
Yeah, I think this is a classic case of Jarvis starting off hot and saying, "Oh, my team's good. I'll just leave it like that for the rest of the season." And then, if you have a plant and it just starts growing and it's looking really pretty, and then you just throw it in your spare bedroom, shut the door, and don't give it any sunlight or water, it dies. And that's what Jarvis's team did. It died.
And
Jarvis does have $66 in fab left.
No back-to-back for Jarvis. A whopping 16 roster moves.
Yeah, that's not many at all.
In his own words, I do not like to trade.
Okay, what do you guys think about players who did not make playoffs but still have fab left over? I guess where I'm coming at is if I'm in the playoff hunt and trying to make playoffs, I will spend every dollar until I am mathematically eliminated. Because I feel like you failed if you still have money laying around that you could have used.
Normally I agree, but this year there wasn't a lot of major waiver wire pickups. If you look at all of our remaining fab, we have 53, 31, 18. I don't feel like I ever should have bid more. Matt definitely has 3 because he bid $38 for someone, and then the next bid was 2. Just because you have more fab doesn't mean you didn't try. I think there just wasn't a lot of cases this year where the starting running back went down. This guy's obviously next up. Let's all bid everything we have for him. Usually Brandon will spend 70% of his waiver wire budget in week 3 when someone gets hurt, and he's still got 30% of his left.
What was the biggest pickup? Sorry to catch up, Jake. I mean, I can't think. Normally there's been a big pickup that changes somebody's team. I can't think of a major waiver wire pickup this year.
If I had to list the most impactful fab pickup, I don't know if I could.
Well, I mean, I would say Pacheco and McKinnon. I got both of them free.
But you didn't have to spend up on them. It was a great pickup, but it wasn't an obvious, hey, we're all going to spend big money on this guy.
Oh, you know who it was? Probably Fields. Probably Justin Fields.
I think Noah spent 18 on him, though. He won on priority.
Yeah, special shout out to Brandon.
Marquise Goodwin. Grant dropped a fat 21 on him.
And that was a waste of money.
Latavius Murray. Cole spent $32 on Latavius Murray and then dropped him later, and I have him now. Mike spent 18 on Mike Boone. Matt 12 on Caleb Huntley. So there was some early season spending.
I'll just say this. With the fab spend and having money left over, it's guys like Zavonovan Knight where
I wish I'd spent on him.
That is one. Sure, he may not be worth 25 fab, but if you're at the end of the season and your team's a little broken, you're trying to make a playoff push, like get the guy who's hot and spend everything you can, because that's going to make your team better.
He
That's
also
what
went for $8 and only 4 people bid.
and one of those teams was me, and I frankly didn't need him. I just wanted to go after him. Anyway, that was just big rabbit trail, but I was curious what you guys' thoughts there were. But
I was definitely dumping money into Fab this week, so I didn't look bad because I figured somebody would talk about this, and I had 40 left.
I appreciate your effort this week, Ethan, against Colin, for sure.
So in playoffs right now, we have number 1 seed Parker, then Jake, then Cole, then Noah, Colin, CC, and Brandon. And I want to point out there was a point in this season where 3 of those teams were 1-3. Now, I think I wasn't able to fact check it, but I think they were 10, 11, 12. That shows
surely that's not right. I was definitely 11 all year.
Okay, maybe 9, 10, 12. I don't know.
I've never been in the top 6 until this week.
Well, that's
all
wild.
Season.
That is wild.
I just scored 180 the last 3 weeks, basically. So
yeah.
170,
you haven't
180, 180.
Yeah, your team name was really accurate until now. Me and Brandon were looking at the records, and he reassured me that if I lost, you wouldn't make playoffs. And I considered that my consolation prize for losing against CC was, hey, I kept Noah out of playoffs. And then some people sucked, and you still got in.
Brandon was scared he wasn't going to make it. I would have died laughing so hard if I had scored 180 and he would have scored 100 and got kicked out.
I was secretly wishing Brandon didn't make playoffs, because man, that would have been the meltdown of a century. I mean, he had to have like 4 things go wrong, and 3 of them did. But Brandon clawed back, and I know people gave him a little heat for trading Eckler away. Maybe I'm biased, but I think Aaron Jones, Myers, and not much Pickens have helped him. No?
It worked out for him because he made playoffs, but I don't think that trade helped him make playoffs. He could have picked someone up that did just like, if he could have just started Zay Jones every week, and that would have been a replacement for the combination of Myers and Pickens, because they were both trash. They were both hit or miss or hurt most of the season, and Aaron Jones was nowhere close to Eckler. So it worked out. Like I think it got him 1, maybe 2 wins early on, but like I don't know if it would have made a difference, because I feel like Eckler could have contributed to a win or 2 on his own.
Yeah, I for the first 3 weeks after that trade, I kept like a log of who I started in place of those guys and who Brandon started. Now he didn't actually start Pickens for a while, but I ended up losing a week because of the trade, because I did the analysis of like, I would have been able to start Myers here, and I probably would have started him over like, let's say, Drake London, and I lost by.
I really liked Myers. Like at one point, you early on, you and me were discussing you wanted Henderson, and I think like week 1, 2, and 3, you were very high on Henderson, but I was too, and I didn't want to get rid of him, because last year I regretted not drafting Henderson.
Let's talk about Mike's team. He finished pretty hot with 3 wins back to back. I think some of those were fluky, but fluky as in the other team just didn't score very well. But I mean, a win's a win. And like, I don't know for sure, but I think he might have like ruined Zach's season last week when they played.
Mike's a team that I was pretty scared of. Not scared of him beating me like directly, just it doesn't look like a good team, but scared like he could just ruin playoff chance. Like he could sneak in.
Classic Mike, just wreaking chaos toward the end, where Mike's the opposite of Jarvis. Starts out terrible, always does a bad draft. Even though I think
ended with the second highest win streak. Like you and Cole are both at 4.
All right.
One other really surprising team was Cole. Like after Cole's draft, I don't even think he had a starting receiver after his draft. Like it was awful. Cole, that was the worst draft you've ever had in your life, like based at draft time. Now it doesn't look that bad, but at draft time, I really liked Amari Cooper. And I think that was the only person I liked on your entire team, other than Kelsey and Adam. Okay, so 3 people. Kelsey, Adams, Cooper. I like those 3. Everyone else, hot garbage. And somehow, like, Garrett Wilson ends up being awesome, and then you have 3 stud receivers, and then James Robinson is starting off hot, so Etienne's worthless, and then out of nowhere he's like Etienne just takes off, and then you started Cam Akers like 8 weeks in a row when he was putting up like half a point, and then he's good, and then he's bad, and now he's kind of good again. But it was just a roller coaster. And all year long, I just looked at your team and I hated it. And then somehow I knew you're going to make playoffs because you're Cole, and somehow that happens. And then you ended with like a 4-game win streak, upper tier in points scored, and 8-6.
He had such a strong finish. It was pretty remarkable. He was putting up 160 plus for the last couple weeks. If I'm really thinking about it, what are Cole's strengths? College football, right? We come to the
That's
draft.
the draft. College football and tight ends, and that's what he drafted.
Yeah, and so I guess it kind of makes sense to get slow starts because real life players are developing, and then they get good, and then
I should have taken Adams from him. I accidentally sent the entire GM my draft plan, so I literally thought I was texting Noah because he had just texted me, and I thought I was saying something back to him, and then Jake tried to roast me. I'm like, why is Jake in here? So my draft plan was Diggs or Adams and then CD. But I was scared that Cole would take CD because he's still some OU truther in the back of his mind. But really that's just Holmes. And so I panicked and took CD first because if I wanted any of them, I wanted the homer pick. And I knew he would take CD or Adams and Kelsey. But if I had taken Adams, then I don't know what Cole would have done. And if I'd gotten CD, I would have been fine with those 2 picks. But the next turn, I knew he was going to ETN and Akers just because that's like such a Cole pick.
All right, let's move on. Toilet bowl predictions. Let's take a peek see at that survey that Noah sent out.
We know I'm going to
be what were the results for the toilet bowl? I guess we can go. Do you want to just go through all of this right now?
Sure. Yeah. Let's just go through the survey. Okay. So the first one, who do you think will win the GG12 championship? Let's see. 1 vote for Brandon. We had 2 votes for Parker, and we had 2 votes for Cole. Somehow 3 for Colin. Confusing. I think they really wasn't the toilet bowl.
That's just everyone else in the playoffs trying not to jinx themselves.
That was my knock on wood.
And then
that's drywall. Sorry, Jake.
Desk.
That's
should have put on here. Who do you think will get second this year?
Actually, there's a stud. There's a stud right here. It was wood. Actually, there's a stud right here.
All right. Who will win? Who will be in the toilet bowl this year? Okay. The highest was Matt by far with 9 votes and Mike with 5. We had both Jarvis and Zach 3 votes, which they can't be in the toilet bowl because they have a bye. So.
Good job, geniuses. They have a bye.
Great vote, Jarvis and Mike. And then Ethan had 3 and Grant had 3.
Real quick. I think for the toilet bowl, I don't think Matt's. I haven't looked at injuries this week, but I don't think Matt's team really was that bad this year. He had some down weeks, but he also had some really unfortunate losses early on. I think Grant, with the injuries of Kyler and someone else got hurt last night too. I think with those injuries, I think Grant's pretty much a lock for the toilet bowl. And then the other side's
me and Mike, and not gonna lie, I'm a little worried about Mike.
I would be a little worried too. I think it might be
I'd much rather would have played Matt or Grant.
Yeah. I mean, this all comes back to like the hypothetical of, would you rather make playoffs every year but never win, or would you rather win big and lose big?
I would still rather win big and lose big, mainly because I have no choice and that's what I do.
Who had the most disappointing season and why? A couple responses here. Grant, team looks good early on. Somebody said Ethan will be a big blow to his confidence, but Grant also threw a big early season lead. Somebody else nominated Ethan, said he didn't have any major injuries to keep him down, just isn't good at fantasy. It's time for him and the league, in parentheses, to accept that. Also, Jarvis.
I would like to ask that person how many championships they have.
Started hot, fizzles out. Shocker. Championship hangover at its finest. If I had to guess, I'm going with either Brandon or Zach on this comment. I don't know who it is, though. Jarvis, he had a Rams-type year. Grant, only because I always hold him to a high standard. Interesting. And then somebody put Quentin. I wanted him to suck his first year.
Yeah, Quentin really surprises us.
Moving forward, there are 4 league members who have only made playoffs once or not at all. The last 5 years, who are they? That doesn't count Parker. Somehow, most people got this right. It was Ethan, Grant, Jarvis, and Mike. Wow. Somebody said probably Swish, Jarvis, Ethan, and Mike. I don't know who Switch is, but
That's
Jack.
Jack. He didn't
Somebody said
make
couldn't
playoffs
tell you.
any of the
That's
last
Jarvis.
5 years.
Funny.
Okay.
Oh.
What should be the punishment? Last question. What should be the punishment for loser of the toilet bowl? There's some good responses here, so we'll read them all. Somebody said loser Hard Knocks. Someone said Waffle House for 24 hours. Have to give a 5 to 10 minute speech recapping their season, how they could have done better, and film a Hard Knocks. Somebody said get a divorce. Mike, that's not funny. Has to take the SATs and get a score announced. No
That one's
preparation.
good.
I'd get a 10.
Round trip flight for no reason. Can't leave airport.
Oh.
One of the better ones. Somebody said they have to live with Noah for 3 days and follow his house rules. That's pretty good. WNBA game by themselves.
Oh.
$100 from Noah.
What? Noah gives the loser $10?
100. I don't know who put that. Go to a private therapy session. Somebody said a buzz cut, and then finally should have to sell $50 worth of lemonade. $50 worth of lemonade outside sell $50 worth of lemonade outside their office building.
I mean, I think realistically, the only ones we're gonna get from that is maybe a buzz cut, and then
I'm not doing a buzz cut. It's not coming back.
Okay, well, you're in jeopardy here.
I know. I would rather do the lemonade.
I mean, the Hard Knocks one
or pick like the $100 from Noah.
Very realistic.
What does that mean?
I like the Hard Knocks one.
It's just like you have to
like
film.
You follow me around all day. I work at home. You're gonna see me and a dog and a cat.
Remember how CC made that like jokey video?
Yeah, okay, that.
But like that.
Remember, with Jake, me and you had the podcast, and I suggested that, and you said, "Oh, that'd be a great idea. Let's do it." So
I know.
Have them do it.
Yeah, I think that would be a good one. Maybe for like they do one for draft prep and then like one for the first couple weeks.
Wait, are we doing a punishment this year? Did we decide that?
No, but if we do the Hard Knocks thing, like that can be implemented next year.
I'm gonna vote no because I'm in jeopardy. If I was safe, I would vote yes.
All right, that's the survey.
Those are pretty good though. Let's move into questions for Ethan. Actually, wait, before we do that, can we talk about Parker's season real quick? Number one, he got the worst draft grade. I think at the time the draft grade was like it wasn't that bad. If he wins, that would be the second year in a row the person with the worst draft grade won, which would be crazy. I mean, he did start well. He got lucky at first, I think, with the wins, but like his team has had some very respectable wins. I don't know. I feel like he's been like the favorite because his record's been so good, but like I think his team's actually caught up to him and it is good. I don't know. I've been very impressed.
My favorite thing about his season was that he wasn't afraid to trade.
Yeah, what trades?
He traded with me. He traded James Robinson for Kittle, and I mean he lost that one, but like Kittle hasn't been amazing. But the bigger one was he traded Jarvis Landry, who is droppable, and Joe Mixon for Josh Jacobs and Christian Kirk. Kirk has been very like not elite but solid. Josh Jacobs is like a top 3.
He's been elite.
He's been hit or miss. Like his last 3 weeks are 8, 16, and 9.
But like
he's had like top 1 weeks probably. So I would say he was solid. I wouldn't say he's elite, but he's got to be a wide receiver 1, if not like top 15 or something. I'm not looking at the ranking, but like Josh Jacobs is awesome. Like he actually is elite. He's got to be top 5 running back. And he traded Joe Mixon, Joe Mixon is one of the reasons I really hated Parker's team. I don't believe in Joe Mixon for fantasy. When he's missed 2 games, and every other week he's putting up double-digit points. He has 2 games that weren't double digits, and one was 9. And then he has that massive 55-point week. So if you had asked me now versus like preseason, I would have been wrong on Joe Mixon, but still like upgrading to Josh Jacobs and Christian Kirk, like that saved his season. I think without that trade, I don't think he's the 1 seed. He might still make playoffs, but he's definitely not the 1 seed. And then the Waddle for McLaurin, that's actually
that probably hurt him.
I don't know. It's been close.
That was before
because after the trade, Waddle hasn't been like top tier elite. He's gone 18, 16, 10, 20, 9, 9, 24. So it's pretty even. And then he got Geno Smith too, which Geno's he's had one game under 20 since the trade. So good trading on Parker, and props to not being afraid to trade your first year like the rest of the league.
Good season. Even if he went, or even if he doesn't win at all, great season overall. Anyway,
One quick thing.
Glad we had it,
Parker.
Quentin. He did good.
Parker's got a very stable ceiling, or I should say a high floor, but I think his ceiling is very low. He runs into a team like mine or Coles who could pop off for 180. I think he's in trouble. But if we either have a bad week, I think he's consistent 135, 140 every week at least.
Let's go power rankings. I mean, it was kind of outlined. I think it's kind of outlined in the survey, but we'll start with 6. Who do you guys think is the weakest team in playoffs right now?
CC.
Colin for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Colin or Brandon, but Brandon's getting guys back. It looks like Kenneth Walker practiced fully today. I just saw, so that helps
Maybe not
Colin.
CC.
Yeah. I'd go 6 CC, 5 Brandon. Man, after that, it's so hit or miss by the week.
I think Noah and Cole are, to me, toss up at 3 and 4, just because of boom bust. Like both y'all could score 200 or 100. Like if ETN has a bad week, and like Adams has a week where he doesn't score 2 touchdowns, and then Kelsey only scores 1. Like Cole's had a couple bad weeks where like just people don't hit. And if the Jets decide to throw like Zach Wilson back in and Garrett Wilson's useless, like there's just a lot of things that could go wrong with his team.
I think number 4, I would go Noah, but it's not because I think your team's bad. It's just like I can see the touchdowns not falling your way, and then you're left with like 130. I mean, it'll probably get it done. It'll probably get it done for CC, but I think beyond that, like you have big upside with Fields if he's healthy, McCaffrey, I guess. Lockett.
I realize how good Lockett has been. Lockett's been awesome.
You know, Allen's got 14 targets each.
Keenan's been solid the last couple. Devonta Smith's had one bad game in the last 5 weeks.
Now, but like with
CC
Lockett,
gave you Zeke for free, and he's
with Lockett. You've been hitting on a touchdown rate every week the last 5 weeks or 4 weeks. So yeah,
he hasn't not scored a touchdown in the last 2 months. Like it's been the last time he didn't score was October 23rd.
Who?
Lockett.
Wow.
He hasn't. He scored every single week since week 8, minus his bye week.
Yeah, it's just 6 weeks in a row. So like, I guess your upsides. I mean, it's there right now, but I guess you have potential to lose that touchdown from Lockett. Zeke's really done the same thing.
Zeke scored every single week he's played since week 6. He missed 2 weeks.
Actually,
on the bye. Yeah.
Is he really?
And he's had 2 games with 2 touchdowns. So he scored 1 touchdown in week 3. He has 9 on the year, and they've been within 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games.
Man.
So he scored 8 touchdowns in 6 games.
Maybe it's not going to end. I didn't realize they were that consistent.
Their offense is good, and like
Zeke's
not. And Pollard both score touchdowns. No, wait. What gets you is your flexes, like your tight end. This Okinawa guy, he's actually been good the last 2 weeks. But
Rondale Moore has been really good until he got hurt. He was 14, 15, 16.
Well, I think it more had to do with Hopkins coming back than him. I mean, the timing was Hopkins coming back and he got hurt.
He's in a slot.
Yeah, Hopkins was out through week 10?
Yeah.
Or was it 6?
He's been there. He's got those points with Hopkins there. It's just he's been.
Yeah, he had 3 good weeks with Hopkins. It was that Brown was out too. So like right now your flex and your tight end are not great, but like the top 6 players above that are solid. So then it's just the flex and then like the touchdown dependence. But like, you haven't had a down week. You haven't had a down week in a month, so
yeah. It does. I mean,
we're picking at hairs. All these teams made playoffs. They're all good.
Yeah. After breaking that down, it looks pretty confident. And you've been doing all this with the Gabe Davis doing literally nothing. So you get that.
If I had Olave.
Yeah, you get that. Well, Olave hasn't done much.
It's all right. You got Keenan for free from Mike.
But
I think if I had a healthy Bateman,
waiver wire quarterback.
healthy Bateman in my flex.
Well, you got Keenan for free, so you don't need Bateman.
all right, let's look at the other side. CC. I mean, yeah, he's got the worst team in playoffs for sure.
I should be CC. I suck.
So, I mean,
This man is starting Corey Davis and he's in playoffs. I think he's started Corey Davis every week all year long, and he's missed like 4 games and has had like what 3? He's got 2 games over in double digits since week 2.
yeah, there's no reason that he should have held on to that long. I mean, if Corey Davis was on the waiver wire, he would not be picked up.
But no, not at all. Yeah, maybe.
And he wouldn't.
He'd probably get picked up. Our waiver wire is slim.
Okay, but he wouldn't be picked up by a team that CC's going to be
No.
playing. It really doesn't affect him.
But props him for starting DJ Chark last week, putting up 21.
Yeah. And
Saquon's not been elite the last month. Kenneth Walker is currently dead, but if he gets resurrected, then he's good. Dulcich.
How's actually been terrible.
Christian Watson is the same thing as Noah's team, like constant touchdowns. He's got 6 touchdowns in the last 4 weeks. He scored 32, 21, 24.
Watson's so good.
Count 7 in the last 4 weeks.
He's regressing. He's not doing that this week.
I think it's probably an 80% chance that Noah wins. I just talked myself up from 60, but I think 80% Noah wins. I think the only way CC wins is if Mahomes goes off, Chase goes off, Saquon goes off, and Judy or Watson goes off. So that would pretty much mean those 5 guys put together like 100 to 120, and then the rest of them, I don't know. And the rest of them maybe can get 40 to 50 points, and then he's looking at 170.
So Noah, to strike some fear into you, look at CC's last week against me. He scored 143 with Corey Davis scoring 2.5, starting Kenneth Walker when he was injured, and Saquon getting 6. If Saquon is good, Kenneth Walker plays, and he either plugs in literally anyone over Corey Davis, then that's kind of scary.
Yeah. I mean, he has a true boom. He has a boom.
It's very boom or bust, but like his boom, I don't know if he's had a week where like everyone hit on the same week, or like he actually had everyone to play in the same week.
Yeah. What do you think, Noah? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, like Ethan said, he's got a lot of boom bust guys. Kenneth Walker's going to get San Francisco. That defense is ridiculous. So I think he's going to get 15 max. Could be wrong.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Not going to do what he did last week. Dolchich, honestly, I think he's going to do good this week. Arizona's terrible against the tight end. Corey Davis plays the Lions, so they're terrible as well defensively. So who knows? He could fall into the end zone. I think I win by 10, maybe less.
Yeah, that'll be. I wonder if there's any Monday games. Yeah, so we got Green Bay defense, Matt Gay, Christian Watson. Dang it. So we're not going to know the winner of this till Monday night, probably.
Watson against Ramsey, most likely.
Yeah. Let's pick apart Cole and Brandon's matchup.
I want Brandon to win.
You want Brandon to win?
Yeah, I don't want Cole to win anything. To go kiss his muscles and lift another rep.
All right. Man, so I think Brandon's team rests on the shoulders of a Tua Waddle stack.
I don't know why Zay Jones is projected 8. Maybe it's because he either scores 20 or 3.
Yeah, he can just get great game scripted out so easily.
They should be chasing points against Dallas, though.
But so it's also like a catch-22 because Dallas is so good at just putting teams away. And there's like, when you're in fantasy, there's like that level of like, I want this game to be competitive, but it can swing the other way if a team's up by 21 points, then no one tries, no one cares. And I could possibly see that happening with Lawrence going up against Dallas D. Wow, look at this. So Brandon is probably going to know his result pretty soon. He's got 1, 2.
He's got Aaron Jones on Monday night.
He's got 6. Yeah, I know, but he's got 6 guys on Thursday and Saturday.
Saturday games suck.
No,
it's Thursday, but
Saturday's fun.
I think Miami is a fraud after last week against Buffalo. I think he's going to lose by 30.
It's time for a bounce back. Maybe they can have a shootout with Buffalo. That's what that's
there
his
gonna be
hope
snow?
is.
Yes.
I hope not. Not if Miami's going to do anything. They're used to the sun.
It's supposed to
Like if
snow
that
here.
game can be a shootout, then they have a chance. Their brand has a chance.
Man,
Also, the Bucks running back matchup is in this game. Rashad White versus Fournette.
I would much rather have Rashad White. I'll just say that, especially against Cincinnati. Man,
Cole, if you're a real tight end man, you'll start Taysom Hill or Foster Moreau in your flex.
Cole's team looks really
Pick him
good.
up.
So you got Burrow's, he'll be fine. Tampa D is pretty good, but I mean Burrow's been lighting it up lately. So I would say a solid 23 from Burrow, and then Adams has been crazy. Garrett Wilson's been crazy. Amari's been down since Deshaun came back.
Yeah, I think that's
Pollard,
some hope there.
yeah, Pollard against Jacksonville is a dream.
Pollard's unprojected
Pollard
or
is so
underprojected for
good.
sure.
Oh, Pollard is gonna
14.
20 plus, no question. ETN, I think he scores under 10. I think that's a weak point, but I don't think
What happened to him?
about it. I think they just like throwing the ball. And
He got 17 carries last week for 32 yards.
oh, never mind. I don't know.
He hasn't been getting catches either.
He's just little, and he's just I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm a
He's
believer that size matters in football, like real football. Unless you're the fastest guy in the field. Unless you're the fastest guy in the field, size matters. And ETN is neither of those.
Hey, Kelsey hasn't scored in 2 weeks, so rip.
So he's due. Yeah, and it's Houston. So actually, that's actually probably bad. Houston, in theory, should be down. Or
It might be good for your Panchecho.
hopefully. But doesn't really matter for me this week, though, unfortunately. I would love to start Pacheco this week.
Oh, I have the bye. Oh.
Pirine.
Dead.
Oh, okay. I can see Cole has some glaring weaknesses now. Now that Pirine's out.
He'll probably have one bad receiver, one bad running back, and one bad flex.
Yeah, that should still get it done, though. I just don't see Brandon's team doing much with Tua and Waddle not doing much.
Ayuk, though, is going to get more work with no Samuel. So
no, but I don't think Purdy throws to him though.
I had a touchdown last week.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forget. So basically, this is what happens. Brendan complains about Ayuk doing nothing, and then that's in the fourth quarter, and then the last 3 quarters Ayuk does great, and then I don't hear anything. Yeah, he's.
I remember because I almost broke something because I was like, oh no, now Brandon scored. I have to score another touchdown to outscore him by 50 to get in.
Oh, it's crazy, man. Look at that, Pierce Strong. So you know how Noah and it is too long. Noah and Brandon always do the thing where they pick up the running backs before the game and then drop them at the
Brandon
end.
already has him.
Yeah, that worked. I think it's the first time it's worked all season.
I think Cole did it with Pirine.
No way Cole did that.
Cole has Pirine. I don't know if he did it in that manner, but he picked him up that week.
I had Pirine dropped him 2 weeks later.
He picked him up on waivers for $0, so it definitely wasn't when Mixon was hurt.
Yeah,
and then he didn't start him when he started against me. He benched him and he scored like 25.
I spammed him that morning. But
no, you had him 2 weeks prior.
Yeah.
Brandon dropped him twice in between them.
So
all right, you ready to wrap it?
We called it.
Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And do you guys have any closing remarks? Ethan, better luck next year.
See everybody on draft day.
You don't have to set your lineup like you do. Not like you normally don't do each week, Colin. If you don't want to this week, that's fine as well. If they say, keep them in, let it ride.
Colin, please do not start an inactive player this week against Noah. We're all rooting for you. Please beat him.